Hello friends, let us today talk about loss of biodiversity. Now, as we know, the importance of biodiversity into the sustenance of life on earth. All the organisms which are found into a particular ecosystem, they are having interrelationship or interdependency. Their interaction allows ecosystem to remain functional and diversify. Now, biodiversity is definitely based on very largely on the environmental condition, that is extra or abiotic factor which are present, plus biotic, that is living organism which are present into an ecosystem. And that is why due to biotic factor we requires to have more and more number of the species in an ecosystem to sustain for a longer period of the time. But human activity leads to huge disturbance to biodiversity of various sort of ecosystems, various types of ecosystems all around the world. So that causes huge consequences as far as the loss of biodiversity is concerned, and in turn it is leading to disturbance and loss of so many habitats of various ecosystems, which leads to less of productivity and mass extinction in that particular area. So let us discuss about what are those biodiversity loss. Let us discuss first about what the loss is there, and then we are going to discuss about various reasons of a loss of biodiversity. So very first thing what we are about to study is why this is caused. So different species have been extinct due to the human activities. So this is the main cause why we are getting loss of biodiversity. Now, International Union of Conserving the Nature, IUCN, they have produced the book called Red Data Book or Red List Categories, right? And they have produced it in a various intervals. According to IUCN Red List 2004, that is 16 years back, the various types of species of animals and plants are getting extincted. For example, 784 total species includes 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates, and 87 plants have been extincted in only short duration of 500 years due to the technological development of which is made by human. And the example which are given, Dodo in Mauritius, it is the bird. Quagga in Africa, which is halfly like horse, halfly like zebra. Thylacine in Australia. Stellar sea cow in Russia. And 3 subspecies of tiger, that is Bali, Javan, and Caspian. So many number of the species are getting extinct due to the human activity. What we can see here due to the human activity. As far as the loss of a single species is concerned, it is definitely affecting to so many different species which are present into that particular ecosystem, because we already have learned the structure of ecosystem. We have so many food webs and food chain. So even a single species of that food web is removed, it is affecting to various types of food chains. So that's the importance of a particular species into food web and particularly to the ecosystem. So please take the screenshot. If you see, this is a picture of Dodo. This is a quagga, African species. Bali, the tiger which is found into Bali, Java, and Caspian. These are the 3 subspecies which are of tiger. This is thylacine found in Australia. Now, the facts which are related to the loss of biodiversity, let us discuss those, that how many species or subspecies may have under the threat of mass extinction. If you see the first fact, 27 species disappeared in last 20 years, only last 20 years, 27 species, right? And right now, more than 15,500 species faced the threat of extinction. Now, into these threatening species, if you compare, 12% they are bird, 23% mammal, 32% amphibian, and 31% gymnosperm species, they are under the threat of mass extinction. So, highest number of the species which are facing the threat of mass extinction are amphibians. They have large number of the species under the threat of extinction. It is not new for us that we may face mass extinction on the earth. According to the figures and facts what we are having, it used to found many a time onto the earth before humans were settled down onto the earth, that is pre-human times. Nearly 5 times the earth has faced mass extinction due to the environmental critical conditions or disturbances. But current species extinction, that is, its rate is 100 to 1000 times faster than the pre-human times. Now, if I am talking about pre-human times, we know that there are so many consequences may have happened, but regular consequences, what we know, that example is, for example, the ice age, right? So due to the ice age, mass extinction of the species may have happened in earlier times, but by course of time, as the environmental condition is getting re-established, then the species will definitely regrown, though they are found to be a new species or the older one. But again, the establishment of entire ecosystem used to be perfectly established automatically, and the main reason behind that is it was natural and it used to be very slow. But for us, we are supposed to consider the speed or the rate of the species extinction, which is 100 minimum to 1000 maximum, faster than the pre-human activities, sorry, pre-human times. So if these present trend continues, nearly half of the all species on the earth might be wiped out within next 100 years, right? So total number of the species of the earth whatsoever we are having, half of them are going to be wiped out within very short duration, that is 100 years. So that's biggest threat what we are facing right now. Fine. So please take the screenshot. Now, effect of loss of biodiversity, how it is going to harm us. Number one, it declines the plant production. So straight effect is on primary and secondary production. So neither plants are having good production, and so that even animals rate of the production is going to be decreased. So decline in plant production is the first effect what we can observe due to the loss of the biodiversity. Second, lowered resistance to the environmental problems or perturbations. So environmental condition will or is going to be harsh, disturbed. So many consequences are also possible to face. For example, drought. We know that in even current situation, so many disturbances we can observe around us into the specifically environmental condition. We currently facing very huge cyclone near to South India, for example Tamil Nadu. It is due to the somehow consequence of this kind of loss of biodiversity, maybe. Right? So this can be the possibility of this kind of environmental disturbances. Third, increased variability in the ecosystem processes. We already have gone through the structure and function of the ecosystem. So it is producing variability, that is some disturbances in either ecosystems or ecosystem processes like plant productivity, like water use and pest and disease cycles. Right? So this are the possibilities of loss of biodiversity leads to very severe consequences within the entire ecosystem, and hence definitely due to hence definitely on the life of on earth, and specifically due to the humans as well. Please take the screenshot. Now if we discuss the causes of biodiversity loss, there are main four: 1, 2, 3 and 4 causes, and due to them the biodiversity loss is happened, and that is why it is evil for us. So we used to say them the evil quadrant, right? So evil quadrants are: number 1, habitat loss and fragmentation; second, over exploitation; third, alien species invasion; and fourth is co-extinction. So these are main for a reason why we are facing the problem of the biodiversity loss. Each of them has to be clarified one by one. Take the screenshot so that we are moving into the first cause, that is habitat loss and fragmentation. So first cause of loss of biodiversity is habitat loss and fragmentation. Now if I talk about loss of habitat, sorry, not habit. So habitat is a place where an organism is living, inhabited, right? So if their homes are no more, for example, if I am cutting down the tree where a particular birds or insects are living, then they don't have that place again, right? So cutting down forest, so forest used to be the home of so many different species. So that way, whensoever we are doing some disturbances into habitats of the species where they are living, they definitely are going to extinct. So it is most important cause which creates this kind of consequences. For an example, the biggest example what we are observing, habitat loss in a tropical rainforests. This is the typical example we have seen earlier in this chapter. We have lose tropical rainforest from 14% to 6% only. Earlier, tropical rainforests were used to be 14% of total land of the earth. Right now, they remains only at 6% of total land onto the entire earth. Right, so thousands of the hectares of the rainforests are being cut down within an hour. So, and the best example which is given or we have understood is the Amazonian rainforest, which is definitely called as the lung of the planet, is being cut for cultivation. Number 1, soybeans, and number 2, conservation of the grasslands for the cattle, so that cattle can feed. So these are the two reasons why we are actually cutting down the Amazonian rainforests. Very large habitats are broken up to the fragments. Now why? Because if suppose there is a large area which is a jungle, but when we are keeping them into 2, 3, 4 parts, for example, a particular large area is now divided into 2 separate states. Ready? For example, Goa, for example, Kerala, for example, the South Indian states which we can observe. It is inhabited into a particular area, right? Eastern Ghat or Western Ghat. So, one of the ghats, Eastern Ghat or Western Ghat, they have so many, not so many, a few states for them, and these states are dividing themselves from the other state. So, we are making few segments, few fragments of a particular type of ecosystem, and which leads to the large habitats cut down into the small habitats. So, we are breaking the large habitats into the small, right? Now, where is the effect? The effect are actually largely observed on mammals and birds. Why? Because they require larger territories, and certain animals which with migratory habitats, they are badly affected. So, largely mammals and birds are concerned with migratory habitats. So, they are badly affected. Now, leading to their population decline. So, they fall into the extinction. Day by day, their number is getting down. So, this is the first and most important feature or cause which is affecting the biodiversity loss. Please take the screenshot. Second is overexploitation. So many species on which we depend on more largely than the others, or we have used them either for our personal cause, personal benefit, so that they found to extinct very rapidly, very fast. So, for example, many species such as Steller's sea cow or passenger pigeon are extinct due to the overexploitation. So, there are so many. For example, under threat species is blue whale. Why? Because of the our personal benefit, we are killing them, we are preying them at large quantity. So, very few number of the blue whales are right now remained on the earth. So, it is called over exploitation. The other over exploitation, just before the example, just before we have seen is Amazonian rainforest, right? So, we have over exploit the forest, right? Exploitation is at par of the level of the natural exploitation. That is why it is over exploitation. So, if we utilize or if we dependent on a particular species more than the capacity of natural exploitation, then it leads to the extinction of that species, and that phenomena is known as the overexploitation. Please take the screenshot. One of the most important reason is this third one, that is alien species invasion. The X species, when it is introduced naturally or by humans into the other ecosystem, right? It causes decline, it can cause decline or extinction of indigenous species, that is local species of that particular ecosystem, and it is very largely seen around us. Ready? Let us define first. So, alien species, it causes decline or extinction of the indigenous, that is local species. The best example what we can see is the babool tree, bawad, around us, right? So, to decrease the spreading of the desert, Britishers have introduced this plant babool into India to prevent desertification. Now, it is a good cause actually behind that, not evil. But the effect is that the environmental condition of India found to be very prominently suitable for babool tree, and they have spreaded like anything. But due to that effect, what we can see is they are consuming nutrition at the highest level and faster than the local species, and that is why local plant species are declined within very short duration. So, many of the local plants they are extinct right now due to this babool tree. આપણે એને ગાંડો બાવળ કહીએ. ગાંડો બાવળ એટલે જ, right? This is the name which is given because they are spreading like anything, right? So, alien species affect straightway to the indigenous species by the competition of either habitats or food. Example which are given here. Number one, the Nile perch, which is introduced into the Lake Victoria in East Africa, causes the extinction of more than 200 species of cichlid fish into the lake, right? Now, invasive weed species like carrot grass, that is Parthenium, lantana or water hyanthus, that is Eichhornia, they cause damage to our native species. Carrot grass they found on land, and water hyanthus they found on the water surface. So, due to excess growth of this weed, our native plants, the other plants are affected badly by getting the nutrition from the soil, and that is why they cause severe damage of the native species. Third one, the illegal introduction of the African catfish, that is Clarius garriepenus, for aquaculture. This is the cause why it is introduced, posing a threat to indigenous catfish, local catfish in our river, that is in India. So, again good cause was there. So, African catfish was introduced into the our local reservoirs, which are posing a threat to the local catfish because they are more prominent and the environment what they found is more suitable. So, they are posing the threat to the local species. Please take the screenshot, and we are moving to the this is the Nile perch which are introduced into the Victoria Lake, and these are the local cichlid fish which are consumed by these Nile perch. So, these are extincted due to that. And the last one, fourth reason why we face the loss of biodiversity is co-extinction. Now this is very common phenomena which is observed. As we have discussed, when a particular species is getting extinct, the plant and animals which are associated with it also become extinct. Why? Because they are part of food web or a particular food chain. So entire chain will be disturbed. For example, extinction of parasite, when the host is extinct. So when host is extinct, the species of host is no more now. So the parasite which are living on them are not be able to found their life. So they are also going to extinct. If they are obligate parasite, then and then only this can be found, right? Fine. Co-evolved, this is the second example. Co-evolved plant pollinator mutualism, we have already gone through it. Mutualism, so whatsoever changes are phased into the, for example, a particular plant, similar types of adaptive changes are happening into the vectors which are pollinating them, right? So it is called plant pollinator mutualism. So if plant is extinct, for example, then pollinator also going to extinct. So co-evolved plant pollinator mutualism, where extinction of one leads to extinction of other. So if pollinator is no more, then plants found difficult in the reproduction. So they are going to be extinct. So these are the 4 reasons of the biodiversity loss. Now into next lecture we are going to define and discuss about the method of the reason and method of the conservation. So please take the screenshot, and we are ending our session, and I'll see you into the next lecture. Have a nice time and take care.